renovations, you'll save 11% on all of it. Now's the perfect time to finish those projects and get ready for the next big thing. Stop waiting and start saving with an 11% rebate on everything, even sale prices, now at Menards. Good through August 12th. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
The Toyota of Warren moving sale is in full swing. This is General Manager Tino Merlot. Our prices are low, our trade-in values are high, and don't you dare worry about your credit. We'll get you approved. So don't miss the Toyota of Warren moving sale. It'll just cost you money.
It's summer fun at the Fireplace Poland. Tuesday, a party on the patio. Thursday's a cruise, and Friday, live entertainment. The Fireplace, 5 Points, Poland. Cool your home this summer. Call Massa Heating in Girard, your factory-authorized Bryant dealer. Now, the Storm Team 27 forecast.
Clouds disappearing throughout the day, becoming partly sunny with a high 76. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low 58. Sunday, partly sunny, the high 76. Monday, again, partly sunny with a high of 80. Again, clouds disappearing today, becoming partly sunny with a high 76.
Now, 74.
All right, welcome back, everybody, or welcome, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. This is what we do on Saturdays. We get a little venue here to talk about things that are going on tech, and we invite all of you who are out there in our listenership to get on board. And some of you are in the driver's seat here, where we use you to bring up information so the rest of us can kind of learn through your experiences. So if you want to share some of your experiences or have any questions for us today, 330-729-9977 is the phone number. You can also text me at the station here, and we can read those questions and comments on the air. Phone number is 333-1570. You can text that number. It'll show up from time to time. I'll check that inbox and answer those questions live on the air. And that gives you sort of an opportunity, if you don't have time to wait on hold or make the phone call, those messages still get to me. And like I said, you can get your question answered on the air. And so really the premise of the show, if you're a first-time listener, I am basically a professional problem solver, and I happen to be using my problem-solving skills in the technical arena. So my job and goal is to sort of weigh, help people who don't have the experience and help them weigh the different options and see which one of those options work out best for you. So I'll share some of my expertise, and I've hit enough situations that when you tell me something, I've probably been on that road before, and I've considered those things much like you as the consumer. So when you ask me those questions, I go into you mode and say, okay, what are my priorities, and what would I do? And so, a lot of our customers and our listeners put us on this path of, hey, start thinking about this. Take this, I want to cut the cable. I'm so sick of paying, $200 for a cable bill. Is there a better way? And then most of the time I'm going to say, okay, well, I didn't contemplate that yet, but let's experiment. So I take your information and your questions back to my laboratory, and I stew over it, and I try different things out, and we come out at the other end with some kind of conclusion. So it's a never-ending cycle of this. Right now I am actually doing that scenario where I am trying to experiment with cutting the cable and see where that leaves us. But if you want to put something on the other end of that and want me to start solving some problems and working on some things, and as a collective, everybody listening out there, as the collective, we might be able to answer some questions, because I know that there's a whole lot of you who got interested in those the over-the-air antennas. Why? Because it's absolutely free and the picture is phenomenal, right? Cutting the cable, it comes up all the time. How to back up things in case of data loss, how to upgrade your computer and run updates. All of this stuff is asked so frequently. We use what we're asked frequently, and we bring it to you guys so that you guys could get listen in on those conversations. So 330-729-9977 is the phone number. All right, and to just bring you up to date on this whole cord cutting thing, I'll bring up to speed sort of the 30-second edition. I was challenged, like I am every year, to see where we're at as far as being able to, get your television programming through someone other than your local cable company. Through competition and capitalism, the more sources you have for programming, the better the pricing ends up getting and the equal distribution. Now, you got to, I'm always going to take sort of the utilities position off the get-go. Had it not been for your cable company slamming a bunch of channels together and selling those channels together, They would have not been able to set up a network of wires to connect every household in America. By buying that collection of channels, allowed them to make money on it and to add infrastructure. Because if you were just to be able to pick out the channels that you wanted, there wouldn't have been enough channels to sell, and the infrastructure would have never been where it is today. So I have to give credit. There was a time and a place, and it was absolutely necessary. In this day and age, okay, so you had the music industry that went through this, and now we have the television and movie industry that are going through this. So if you want to look to see what happened the last time around, you got to look at what happened when the internet changed the way that we listen to music and buy music and distribute music, right? The people who sold CDs and cassette tapes and records, right? They didn't much care for the digital distribution of music. In fact, they didn't believe it would take the place of something physical that you can slap in, your car and listen to on the way, because it didn't have applicable. It didn't have enough devices and electronics that supported the technology, but then it did. Then you could carry around all the songs in your pocket, like Steve Jobs famously said. So this technology disrupts the way that we do things. So fast forwarding now to when we shouldn't have to keep buying programming, right? So if internet is very quality, like if our cable companies get out of the business of selling television programming and sell us a physical connection that comes into our house and gives us the cleanest, fastest internet speed that they could possibly give us, we can handle buying the stuff that comes over that pathway. So that's the changeover where, remember, they're bundling a bunch of channels of which many we don't watch, right? But that total bill has enabled everything you experience today. So I had to repeat that twice now because it is really important to know that that's the way it is and that's the way it was built. But like I said, digital age, information age, things change. So basically I was challenged with seeing if I could buy my programming in something that other than the cable box. So, you can go to, HBO, HBO and buy programming directly from them without having a cable subscription or a DirecTV subscription. You could just go through iTunes and buy HBO Go and start watching HBO stuff on a tablet. You don't have to be connected to anything. It's just streaming. Now, it's not in its infancy, but we are early on, and there isn't 100% participation. So, for instance, you can get most of the networks streaming by buying, an alternative. Like we did Sling TV is where we started. It seemed like it had the most amount of programming that was comparable to what the cable companies were providing. And then we started noticing there's some channels that just aren't on there, CBS being one of them. All right, so CBS isn't part of any of these streaming things. So if you watch channels on CBS, then you're not going to be able to get everything through the Sling TV or the other streaming services. They're just not participating. So that might be a deal breaker for you. So, I watched the Browns game the other day. That was on CBS. I'm on Sling TV. I have not had to plug in my cable box this will be week number 3 now. And how did I watch the Browns game without being plugged in? Well, I plugged in a digital antenna to the back of my TV. So input 1 is my antenna. So I'm getting it over the air. I'm receiving it just like we did old school, the antenna on the side of the house. Now they're just more compact and they can live inside. But I watch CBS, we're our local affiliate here, that I just pulled down over an antenna. And then I switch back and I can watch the cable networks over on my Sling TV, and I can do over-the-air stuff just over through my antenna. So there's sort of like where we're at, and so far so good. I have not had to plug in my cable box. So this is consecutive 3 weeks without having to go to it, and I haven't had to miss watching something because I didn't have the cable box. So far so good. And I'll plan on talking a little bit more about it as a show, but we have a phone call that's here, 330-729-9977. So let's go to Doris. Doris, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Well, hello, Joe. I have a question for you. Last night I did my Malwarebytes update, and it was flawless. You don't have to do anything. It was automatic. And then I have a notification about Java needs updated. Will that be just as automatic?
You said McAfee? I didn't hear the product that you said. I heard something else. Upgrade. Java. Okay.
Internet.
Okay, so Java is a little programming environment that you need a little program for stuff, some web contents and some applications to use and to be able to display things. Now, if you don't have the newest version of Java, some of those won't play right, or they'll have some vulnerabilities. So what you need to do is whenever I get a message that says there's a Java update, I go right to java.com and I'll download whatever the newest version is right from the website and install it. I won't ever follow one of those nag messages because I don't know if it's legitimate. I mean, it's a good chance that it's legitimate, but I don't ever want to fall victim to a carefully crafted scam bubble that pops up. So yeah, if you get a message like that, you're going to go to java.com. Right in the middle of the page, it'll say Get Java. You click on Get Java, it'll download. Then you execute Java, let it run its install. And then it will tell you whether or not, if you already have Java on there, it might have to uninstall some older versions. But for the most part, it's 3 clicks and it's done.
Okay, so that means I'm going to have to bring it into your shop because I can't do that.
All right, well, fair enough. We'd be more than happy to do it for you.
Okay, thank you very much, Joe.
You're welcome. Thanks, Doris. Appreciate the phone call. And so because of that call, I will tell everybody else who don't mind, if you don't mind doing stuff like that. Java is, I would say, and I hesitate here for a second because I had a customer earlier in this week that said, I don't want to expose myself to the Java exploits. How do I know if I use Java? Okay, well, I'll tell you this. I use Google Chrome. So most of the Java stuff, it plays through Chrome differently than it does through Firefox or Internet Explorer. So what I'll do is I will disable or turn the security at the highest setting in Java. If you go to Control Panel on a Windows machine, you can set the security to high, right? Which means no Java content will be able to run without popping up a bubble and say, are you sure you want to do this? So where you're not removing Java, it's still on there. You're going to be notified anytime anything tries to actually use Java. And what that tells you, if you never see that bubble, right, if it never even pops up, then yeah, you could probably get rid of it because you're not using anything. Your activities aren't dependent on Java being installed. And for sure, I would uninstall it if it's not necessary. Now, if you don't like messing around with it, where, if you need it, you want it to be there, but you don't want to be exposed, then do what I did, which is put the security way up. And that way, if you do want it, you can hit yes when that bubble pops up, and then you're ready to go. But as we were talking to Doris a second ago, if you manually run that update, okay, so it's just like a regular program. It asks you a bunch of, include in the terms of service and where do you want to put the application, and it asks you this one question, and this irritates me to this day. I hate it, and I'm going to tell you what to do here. It'll ask you have 2 choices. One is recommended, and then the second one is don't change my browser settings. Okay, and if you can when you get to that menu, select don't change my browser settings. It's poorly worded because it makes it think that the first choice is the better of the 2 choices, when in fact it's actually changing your browser, I think, to point to Yahoo as your search engine and maybe some other settings. So you tell it, no, I would leave my browser alone. It's not giving you an improvement in security or something like that. So say, don't change my browser settings. And that's like the 3rd menu. So you download it, you start installing it, you hit next. It downloads the rest of its components, and then it says, hey, I'm ready to install. Do you want to do the recommended way, or do you want to not change my browser settings? Do that second one. So that's just a Joe tip. All right, 330-729-9977 is the phone number. We'll be checking text messages, too, at the bottom of the hour. And, I saw this topic come across my phone this morning, and I don't really like talking about these things, but I think we're gonna have to because it's our wheelhouse. We have to at least pay a little bit of time to it. Google, okay? So we spend a lot of time keeping our thumb on Google, on Amazon, on Facebook, and all of the big information controllers. Because if we lose sort of that handle on who we send our business to, who we trust in the marketplace, then that power shifts over, and we've given them too much trust or too much power, and then they change their methods, how they behave. So Google's one of those. We put a lot of power in Google to be able to deliver search engine results that are not activist search engine results. We're not looking for Google to decide the content, just that the content is pure. So we need truth. We don't, whatever that truth is, we just need truth and purity in the results. So if If Google as a company decided that they have taking a stand against a certain something that they didn't like, would you trust that they would still let you see that content even if they disagree with it? Or do you think they're going to treat it with a little bit of a bias, what's going to make that kind of content come to you a little bit harder, a little bit slower, and keeping its distance? Well, you know, we don't know what goes into the Google algorithms, right? We've always known that they can control stuff like that mathematically, and it would be really, really tough to prove, right? But search engines aren't a regulated thing. They can do it if they want to do it, and it's only the marketplace that dictates whether or not we still keep giving them the power to do stuff like that. All right, we'll talk more about this cord cutting, a little bit of Google stuff, and other things that might be in the news. If you've got any questions, 330-729-9977. Give us a call here on the Youngstown Computer Show. All right, we'll be back after these words. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN.
You're hearing the Youngstown Computer Show with Joe Danier on News Radio 570 WKBN.
This is Finney for Finn's Tire and Auto Service, and I have an important announcement for any of our friends who need auto service.
We want to remind all of our friends that Flynn's has ASE certified mechanics who will make your vehicle great again.
I do believe they are experts at that, Mr. Finn.
That's right, Flynn. In fact, Tire Review magazine named Flynn's Tire and Auto Service the top shop in all of North America.
You can search near and far, but come to Flynn's for the best service for your car.
And all of our parts and labor are guaranteed.
Be sure to have your auto serviced at Flynn's and tell them Flinny sent you.
Folks, if you've been feeling a little below par, trouble sleeping, stiffness in the joints, you just don't feel right, tune in Chris McKay, Sunday morning at 7. Find out how to eliminate some of these problems. Chris McKay, Sunday at 7, News Radio 570 WKBN.
If you haven't already heard, Toyota of Warren is moving soon. This is General Manager Tino Merlot. We need to sell all of our new and used inventory before we go. I've instructed my staff that no reasonable offers will be refused. Toyota of Warren. If you don't come see us, it's just going to cost you money.
This is a police officer's family, happily getting ready for work and school. Sadly, some police officers don't make it home because motorists don't move over for emergency vehicles on the shoulder.
I'm Ohio Fraternal Order of Police President Jay McDonald. There are too many injuries and even deaths because drivers don't move over. When you see a stopped emergency vehicle, please move over.
Visit fopohio.org/moveover for more information and use hashtag MoveOver on social media to join us. This is a public service of the Ohio Fraternal Order of Police and this station.
Business owners, are you paying too much for group health benefits? You now have a new choice that could save you money. Your local Chamber of Commerce has teamed up with Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield on a plan that will benefit your business for years to come. This plan includes expanded wellness. Call 1-844-MED-OHIO or visit 844medohio.com. Again, that's 844medohio.com.
Welcome to America Speaks by Zip, the polling app that lets you tell the nation what you think. Download the Zip app today. It's Saturday, August 12th. R. Kelly retained Bill Cosby's former lawyer, Monique Presley, to manage his crisis and do damage control, but 83% of all respondents to the Zip app think the singer is guilty. The Tesla Model 3 has been released with rave reviews and starts at $35,000. Does this more affordable price point make you more likely to move toward driving an electric car? 60% of women and 56% of men are not sold, saying it's just too new. Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston are starring together in a new TV show about morning TV shows, but 63% of men and 53% of women don't seem too interested. 40% of all respondents to the Zip app said they'd watch, saying Witherspoon and Aniston are a dream team. Finally, an app to create world peace or maybe just prove your point. Now you can poll the masses by downloading Zip, the question answer app, in the App Store.
If you travel for business, stop wasting time at the same old websites. Upside.com is the only one you need. Upside quickly and easily shows you the exact flights and hotels you want. You can buy them separately or bundle them together or even add a ride. And by bundling 2 or more selections, you save more and you get a bigger gift card to sites like Amazon and places like Home Depot every time you buy a business travel package. Plus, you keep all your airline miles, too. And Upside's expert navigators are available 24/7 via the phone and the web, giving you the VIP treatment to make sure all goes smoothly. And now when you use promo code USA, you are guaranteed to get at least a $100 Amazon gift card on your package purchase. That's code USA to get a $100 gift card. Upside.com, minimum purchase required. See site for complete details.
Temperature 76.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show, and this is Saturday where we get to talk about things in tech. You have me here as your professional problem solver, so if you have something you want me to start working on, and even if it's a big thing, if it's something that, whether it's surveillance and security around your home, or you're interested in one of those Nest thermostats, or any of those big things. I started Youngstown Computer a long time ago, and I was most interested in the cool stuff, like the stuff that nobody else was doing. There's been a lot of activity on the computer repair side, but I like doing cool stuff. I wanted to flip open turn on a football game and be able to watch the stats of my team on a screen that's sitting next to the game, right? And I pay attention to that details and data because it helps me watch the game. Or when I'm watching a race, I want to be able to watch the television on the left and something with the leaderboard and the lap times and whatever. That's to me that's me getting engaged in what my entertainment, my media is. And then you take all these advances that's happened where just about every facet of your life can be connected to the internet in some way. And technology is figuring out a way to make that stuff practical, where it's not just like you have your washing machine, you plug into your wireless network, and then, what's that supposed to do for you? You're getting along just fine right now without having, your washing machine tell you when the laundry's done. But I don't know. That actually might be, if somebody can get text notifications when it's done. You know how many times I get out of bed to go see if the laundry's done yet and it's not, and I have to come back down in another 15 minutes. So maybe that is a really good idea to somehow get my, I don't know how they would even do that. You'd have to build some technology in there and make it wireless. It couldn't be that much more expensive. So, but I saw refrigerators that they connect Wi-Fi and grocery lists, and it was kind of cumbersome. So we're just getting started with that. But I do want to see more and more technology. We're in cars, we're in our front door alarms or front door bells, we're in our alarm systems, we're in our surveillance. So all of this stuff gives you access from your cell phones and your tablets to all of your stuff. So I like I said, I'm a big fan and advocate for that cool stuff. So if you're interested or have questions about it, be sure to call 330-729-9977. You can put me on the case. That's kind of a new fun thing. I started off with this cord cutting thing, and I want to line something up next, because when I put some time into the laboratory, I want to be able to work on some of these things that all of us wonder about. If I were to take a guess as to what will come in next, I've been asked in the last couple months here to do a couple of wireless surveillance and security systems. And so that's probably it. But anyway, 330-729-9977. So let me give you sort of like a list of equipment. So those of you, there's a lot of you that talk to me during the week, and you want some details on the cord cutting thing. Let me give you some list of what I had to buy up to this point to be enabled to do what it is that I'm doing. So I'm using the same TV that I did with the cable box. But once you unplug it, then you have to bring content into the TV in some way. So the two inputs that I have on my television are, I have a Fire TV, which I paid $100 for, and I have a digital antenna, which I paid $70 for. And the digital antenna is plugged in just to the coax in, the cable box used to come in coax. Well, the digital antenna plugs into that coax. And when I go to the TV, the input TV, I tell it, rather than being on cable, that I have to tune it. So I have to tell it that it's on an antenna connected to it, and then the TV goes and lists what stations it can see. Okay, and in my case, there was about 20, and I chopped all of them off of there, all of those crappy ones. I put the big five. I did NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, and PBS. So there's 5 stations, and I picked the best one, and I didn't have multiple versions of them. We just got 5 stations on the box. So anytime I want a network local, I'm going to my input one, which is the TV. Now, the other side is I got to buy the rest of my cable programming or cable type program. It's not really cable anymore. It's distributed another way. The second device I got was a Fire TV, and that was $100. All right, so more to come, 330-729-9977. I'll talk a little bit more about this. If you have any questions, give me a call. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. We'll be right back.
You're hearing the Youngstown Computer Show with Joe Danier on News Radio 570 WKBN.
It's 1:30.
Here's what's happening in the Valley. 4 city elementary schools in the Youngstown district are set to get $1 million in grants for programs, and that will allow for more success after 6 programs this year. The district received $200,000 each for programming at Paul C. Budd, William Holmes McGuffey, and Martin Luther King Elementaries. The United Way, they received $200,000 for Williamson Elementary and another $200,000 for a success after 6 in schools outside the district. Bond of $75,000 each set for the suspects charged with the Youngstown meth-making operation. Glenn and Nicole Lambert and Mark Cartwright charged with the illegal manufacture and assembly of drugs. Prosecutors say there are 8 children in the home ranging from 3 to 11 years old. The Boardman man accused of raping a child was found not guilty of the charges against him. The jury made the decision after 3 hours. Eric Daymore, arrested by U.S. Marshals last year after a grand jury indicted him on rape and gross sexual imposition, alleging that Daymore sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl back in October of 2014. In sports, the Indians beat Tampa Bay 5-0, both again today, 5:37 on News Radio 570 WKBN. Both the Pirates and Steelers won last night. Pirates beat Toronto 4-2. They'll meet again today, 12:40 on the Sports Animal 1390 WNIO. NFL preseason for the Steelers, they beat the Giants 20-12. And the Scrappers lose to Staten Island 2-1. From the insurance experts Art Kashmiri and Associates News Center, I'm Dave Price on Youngstown Warren's only News Radio 570 WKBN.
Sir. This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Jane Metzler. Virginia's governor declaring a state of emergency after white supremacists clashed with counter-protesters in Charlottesville. The alt-right rally in opposition to the planned removal of a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee.
There were no physical barriers, no police barricades that were separating the two sides, so there was a lot of intermingling. And as some of the KKK members and alt-right members were trying to get to the heart of that park there, they had to walk through the counter-protesters, and that's where we saw a lot of fisticuffs, a lot of people getting beaten up or at least punched and hit with sticks and things of that sort.
Fox's Doug McElway. President Trump just tweeting there is no place for this kind of violence in America, condemning hate. First Lady Melania also tweeting that no good comes from violence. This is a Fox News Alert.
Our next update at 2, just ahead. More stimulating talk from the O'Charlie's Digital Studios. $9.99 menu, 9 great meals, 1 great price. O'Charlie's.
If you're over 50, listen carefully. Do you have trouble remembering names, where you put your keys, or where you parked your car? Even simple facts that you should remember but just can't? By age 50, the average person has lost half of their short-term memory, and it only gets worse. Don't ignore the warning signs of age-related memory loss. Now you can think faster and remember more with Cebria, the best-selling non-prescription memory formula supported by 20 years of memory research. A scientific study shows that Cebria can improve your memory in just 30 days. Just call 1-800-990-7211 to get started. All callers today receive a free 30-day supply of Cebria, so you can start improving your short-term memory right away. Get your free bottle of Cebria. Call 1-800-990-7211 or order online at freememoryoffer.com. 1 free month per household. Don't wait. Call 1-800-990-7211 or go to freememoryoffer.com.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate.
Sponsored by Ohio EMA, aired by the OAB in this station.
You're unique, so why is your mattress one size fits all? Because a custom mattress costs thousands, until now. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to HelixSleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Shipping is free, and you have 100 nights to try it out. Go to HelixSleep.com/talkradio and get $50 off your order. HelixSleep.com/talkradio.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeartRadio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest. Let's go! Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to Win Your Trip.
The iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Taco Bell's new $1 beefy potato burrito is the perfect comfort food. Crispy potatoes stacked with seasoned beef and melty cheddar cheese. It's all the comfort you need for just $1. Only at Taco Bell.
The clock is ticking. Every day you put off buying life insurance can cost you big time. The older you get, the more you'll have to pay. And a sudden accident or unexpected illness could cause your rates to skyrocket or even make you uninsurable. Beat the clock. Call SelectQuote now. No hassle, no obligation. In minutes, you'll have a choice of your best rates from up to 10 highly rated life insurance companies. Richard, 40 years old, takes meds to control his cholesterol. Still, SelectQuote got him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. Under $1 a day. Don't risk your family's security another minute. Get your free quote now. Just call 800-280-8787. That's 800-280-8787. 800-280-8787. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
For your home or business, call Mazza Heating in Girard, your factory-authorized Bryant dealer. Now, the Storm Team 27 forecast.
Clouds disappearing throughout the day, becoming partly sunny with a high 76. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low 58. Sunday, partly sunny, the high 76. Monday, again, partly sunny with a high of 80. Again, clouds disappearing today, becoming partly sunny with a high 76.
Now, 77.
News on demand. Go to 570WKBN.com. Bad credit, no credit. Special financing available at Donnell Ford. Market Street, Boardman.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I am Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer, and we bring this show to you on Saturday. We give you an outlet to ask your questions and to sort of get, what your next big project's going on, give you that venue to ask questions about it so you can pick it up and learn about it and hear about it, pick up the verbiage and become a better and more proficient computer user as we go on. If you do need service and you need a repair or you're doing an upgrade and you want to just get in touch with Youngstown Computer, like Doris early in the program, she just knows that she's the part that she wants to do and not want to do. Let me give you the number, 330-259-7278. That's the office number if you want to have service. This is sort of the free version of that, where if we can get some of the little smaller problems that maybe are too small to have a tech look at, that's why we give you this. But there are some things that are just bigger than what you can do on the radio, and that's for sure send you down to those guys. Anthony and David will definitely take care of you. They're really good, smart guys who know what they're doing. And so basically the process is this. You have a pretty good idea of what it's doing that you don't want it to do anymore, whether that it's too slow or you think it might be infected or if it's making freaky noises or anything like that. Bring it to the guys, tell them what your experience is. They'll kind of do a little short interview with it. You can give them all the information you can, and then it goes into an assessment mode where we try to replicate whatever it is you described and try to figure out what's causing it. Once we kind of got a good handle on what's causing it, we can pitch it back to you and say, hey, here's what's going down, and this is how we're best going to resolve it. Our guys aren't salespeople in that way. They're not going to try to talk you into making services. All we're going to do is tell you what we can do to solve the problem. They, too, as an extension of the show, are also professional problem solvers. So once we kind of know, the different avenues, we're just going to inform you and give you as many details to help you make an informed decision and pick one of those that works best for you. We're sort of not going to take a bias or an activist approach on it. We're going to just give you the details and let you tell us what you're most interested in doing. So don't fear asking any kind of question as far as like, hey, is this a dumb move? Am I overpaying here? Is this something that you would personally that's a good question to ask. That helps a lot with knowing, we have some people that, it's a 5-year-old computer and they really want to keep it alive and they don't really care about overpaying and keeping a 5-year-old laptop alive. Where if it's me, if it's lasted 5 years, I consider myself lucky. And there's probably, if this component went bad, if a memory stick went bad, there are probably other components in this computer that might not have a bunch of time left as well. So 5 years is my cutoff where I start looking at, first I take the consideration of cost. All right, so I'll say, okay, well, the cost is going to be $140 to repair this one. Okay, got it. It's a 5-year-old machine. Now, the cost of me going to buy another one is going to be X. So I'm going to take what I have here, and let's just say I originally paid $800 for it, and I go to the market and saying, hey, something comparable and with just today's components is about still $800. So we'll use that as our average, our zero. So $150 to keep this one alive versus $800. Now, how many of the things that we're doing over here for $150 am I still going to have to do once I buy the $800? So maybe in that $150 repair, 40 of it's a memory stick. Well, that's the part that you're going to be putting into the workstation. If you go to a new workstation, you're probably going to have to copy the data back over or do stuff to it. So the consideration is how much of this are you as a consumer comfortable doing and how much are you looking to hand off? So in that case, if it's $40 worth of parts and you're going to do the same hour regardless if you have a new one or you're doing it with the old one, it's a $40 question, not a $150 question kind of thing. And that's the kind of stuff they can take you through. And, you don't have to worry about putting defenses up with these guys. You just kind of, they're in the mode where they need to help you. Because we want repeat customers. We preach that once you're a single generational customer, we want you to be so happy that you send us other people. And we used to count, we used to track that, and we used to count like 10 generations deep. We get so much referrals back that it was amazing. I didn't like losing customers, so we put a lot of effort on retaining the people that we already had and really getting to treat them like family. And so, the best thing in the world is when there's no reservations and you can just give our guys all the details. I have people walk up to me pretty regularly and say, hey, I need to buy a computer. Would it be beneficial buying it from you? Now, that's not something typically people ask us salespeople, because of course they know what the answer is going to be. But I will always surprise you, but I'm going to tell you the truth. What benefit you get from buying it from me versus if price is your only objective, then it is not a good idea to buy your computer from me. Why? Because I am a commercial services guy. So the hardware that I buy isn't necessarily the cheapest. You know what it is? It's the most reliable that I don't find myself having to replace components, right? So, but if I do have to replace components, I want it to be the most industry standard version of that computer so that if I have to run down to the store, I'm going to find something locally to get my customer back up and running as fast as possible. So you're not seeing me shop exclusively on price. I'm shopping based on how I can take care of people and how I'm going to protect people and stuff like that. So if you ask me, hey, if this is based on price, should I buy from you? I'm going to say, heck no, and you're not going to hurt my feelings if you buy something from someone else. If you can go fetch down a cheaper price and getting a special and a deal, go for it. I mean, that's more power to you. But our job is to coach you along that way. Now, if you ask me, what am I going to have to do with this value $300 computer to get it to be something close to what you were about to sell me, then, that conversation, we can, develop that, and I can tell you what's the difference between, this Dell that I purchased that you don't have any problems. We have a failure rate of less than 1% versus this HP over here that you bought for $400 that, it probably won't last as long as this Dell. And it has a failure rate probably a little higher than what the Dell is. But, it's like rolling the dice with me where you could get absolutely lucky, you could have absolutely no problems, and you just saved yourself the difference between $400 on a computer here and that. So, and like I said, your circumstances are all different. So whatever makes you as my customer most comfortable is where you need to come from. So make sure you say that and talk to our guys and share that stuff with them without fear that they're going to try to sell you on anything, because they're really not salesmen. 330-259-7278 is the phone number. Write that number on a sticky note, slap it on the side of your computer, and then there will be a time where you're going to need us, and we'll really hope that you'll give us a call there. We do a lot of emergency services. We did a couple of them. Someone just posted an experience with us on Facebook this morning. I love when my guys take care of customers, so I like reading sort of the story of what people went through. Because customer's perspective, I mean, that's when you go through trauma like that, and then a computer company puts on their cape and flies down and rescues you, right? And they do it, and they don't hammer you on price, and they really just take care of you. And we put ourselves in your spot. We've all been there. We've all been at the weakest, most vulnerable spot in our life, and the last thing we want to do is to make it hurt any worse than it absolutely has to, because we want you to come back time and time and time again. And from the very onset of Youngstown Computer, you guys have all supported us, and you've always carried us through good times, bad times. Just like Doris early in the show, she's going to bring her computer to us to do a service that she could probably get away with doing herself, but she has faith and trust that we're going to take care of her. And without having that reputation for not, hammering people when they're at their most vulnerable, that's sort of what we made. And, we're really good at problem solving, and we're really good at taking care of people. So 330-259-7278 is the phone number. David's down there for another hour, so if you did want to get something dropped off, he's there to ready to grab those computers from you and get things started off. Saturday's a real good day, especially for us that work during the day. You can get something dropped off, get it queued up, and then Saturday can be your drop-off, and Saturday can be your pickup, and it's just nice and convenient. And it also gives it sort of like an advantage, because Mondays are chaotic in my office, where a lot of drop-offs happen on Mondays. So if you bring it on Saturday, you don't have to stand in lines, and you don't have to deal with other people and stuff like that. So it's a lot easier to deal if you try to avoid dropping off on Monday too. So 330-259-7278 is the phone number. And like I said, David's down there for at least another hour. So again, 330-259-7278. Okay, so back to what I was saying before the last commercial break. Oh, you know what? I did get a text message here. Let me answer that. Do you know about DSL in Cortland offering 12 megabit for $45? Okay, so DSL in our area is very sporadic, or like very touch and go. And I say this is it's because our phone infrastructure is very spotty in certain areas, where there are some that are super connected and the networks are good and they're not overly burdened and overly taxed. And then some are spaghetti, like they are under the roads and they're copper and they're constantly going out and whatever. So if you are in an area and DSL is satisfying all your needs, now DSLs in our area, we pretty much have two flavors that I've seen. We have the flavor that gets you up to about 2 megs, and it can't really go much more over 2 megs. And we have the flavor that gets you up to 12 megs, and it can't really go over 12 megs. So in this case, it sounds like you're in one of those areas that they can sell you 12 megabit internet for $45. And in today's market, residential, that's, for the speed, I mean, that's really good on the DSL side. So if you can get it, comparing where you're at, you're probably with Spectrum if you're in Trumbull County. So you'll have $45 for 12 by probably 1 versus something with Spectrum where you get like 300 megabit by 20 for like 100. So if you just do proportional, yeah, you're overpaying, but $45 for 12 megs, if you're just getting some internet, it might be good enough to do. But if you're inquiring into this whole cutting cord and doing streaming, that internet connection is a little weak to be doing it. You're going to get a lot of buffering. You're going to get a little pixelation. It's not going to be a real great experience because you just need a really solid, good internet connection. And I hate to, I've been dealing with AT&T for quite a long time, back before they were AT&T in this area, and it's always been the same explanation. I really feel for these guys that have to sell the AT&T DSL services because it's a mess to deal with in our area, and I really hope that utilities and maybe other companies will express some interest in and add some infrastructure so we can connect. It's a shame that like downtown Youngstown on Market Street we have businesses that can't tie into high-speed internet. That's a huge disadvantage when you're trying to compete with other markets. I mean, if you're bringing a company down to Market Street and want to operate down here, the best you can get is 12 megabit, and you're used to in every other market that being like 200 being the standard. It's a little bit of a black eye for what we're capable of doing. So, like I said, I think cities need to band together and figure out what they're going to do. Maybe even opening their own, little utilities and doing something to add some infrastructure. So I'm like I said, I think that the good things are going to happen. I just think they're going to take a little while to get those big, solid, fast networks to come all the way to Youngstown, Ohio. So in the meantime, $45 for a 12 megabit connection. While it's not real great, it's better than nothing. So thanks for that text message. I also got a Facebook message. Let me pull that up here. Have you ever used Kodi to view IPTV and streaming movies? What about Mobdro? How long will they last? Okay, so this is sort of a theoretical. And the way we put these guys in is there is 100 different streaming services. Now, if you think about what streaming is, okay, streaming is if there is a feed that you can go grab and then direct it. Like if there's a link that gets you to a free CNN stream, and you don't have to pay for anything, you just grab the stream and redirect it to someone. Right? So if you take a bunch of those and put them in a big directory, you got a lot of services that will give you access to those feeds as they exist. You're not really subscribing to any of those places. You're just basically looking at a free directory of streams as they exist. Now, there's one step up above that. Now, some of those free streaming companies also include some stuff that you do have to subscribe to. Now, on the grand scheme of things here, when we did the cord cutting, we tried to make it so that it is as traditional as you could possibly get. You gotta take a novice computer user and be able to throw hardware at this stuff that they, without having to, really add some skill sets to what they know how to do, still be able to pull this stuff off. So the stuff we're throwing at it is stuff like, Fire TV. You can go to the retail, you can plug it in, and it's easy enough to get configured and connected. Where, streaming, once it's on your computer and then pushing out the TVs, that's like another level. So we'll talk a little bit about it. And to answer your question, how long will they last? Well, I'll answer that when we get back. If you want to get queued up on the phone lines, 330-729-9977. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. We'll be right back.
You're hearing the Youngstown Computer Show with Joe Danier on News Radio 570 WKBN.
Who do you trust more? The people who tell you what you want to hear, or the people who tell you what you need to hear? At Financial Engines, we believe the same is true for financial advisors. Who would you trust more? The one who tells you what you want to hear. Hey, don't worry about retirement. It'll all work out. Or what you need to hear. If you don't have a plan, you don't have a chance. At Financial Engines, we believe that everyone deserves to achieve their financial goals, and our experienced advisors can help guide you to and through a successful retirement. Right now, for a limited time, get a free portfolio review by an experienced local advisor. Just visit financialengines.com or call Financial Engines at 800-242-5111, and we'll connect you with a financial advisor near you to help create a plan for providing monthly income during retirement. Don't take chances with your financial future. Call Financial Engines. Schedule your free review of your current financial planning needs and portfolio. 800-242-5111. 800-242-5111. That's 800-242-5111.
Okay, guys, are you ready for a revolution down below? I'm talking about Frigo underwear from RevolutionWear.com. It's all about comfort and looking great. Revolutionwear totally reimagined men's underwear. It's the only brand to feature a mesh pouch and patented Frigo Zone ventilation to keep you cool, dry, and comfortable. They don't pinch, pull, or restrict. Plus, you'll get some nice double takes when wearing them. Try them for yourself. Buy Frigo online at RevolutionWear.com. The revolution starts below.
The clock is ticking. Every day you put off buying life insurance can cost you big time. The older you get, the more you'll have to pay. And a sudden accident or unexpected illness could cause your rates to skyrocket or even make you uninsurable. Beat the clock. Call Select Quote now. No hassle, no obligation. In minutes, you'll have a choice of your best rates from up to 10 highly rated life insurance companies. Richard, 40 years old, takes meds to control his cholesterol. Still, Select Quote got him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. Under $1 a day. Don't risk your family's security another minute. Get your free quote now. Just call 800-280-8787. That's 800-280-8787. 800-280-8787. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
The Hometown Advantage. It's up and down Main Street. It's also in the office downtown, the factory by the river, and the farm down the road. That's because most folks who work here love living here. They care about this community. They work hard to succeed, and that makes a difference. At MahoningValleyHelpWanted.com, we're proud to work our Hometown Advantage around the clock, connecting local employers to local job seekers. Post your job today on MahoningValleyHelpWanted.com. Local jobs that work.
Krakus, the Valley's authentic Polish deli and bakery. Market Street, Boardman. It's 78.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. What I was saying before we went to the break there, the question was these streaming services that are, a lot of plentiful ones, there's a ton of them out there, are they going to stick around? Are they going to be here for a little while? And I will compare it to this. But when we went from the CRT, the big box monitors, to the flat screen, the plasma, or the LCD, we went to this transition where the LCD and the flat screens were like $10,000. Nobody would ever buy them, and they weren't all that great, right? And so, but if we didn't have the expensive ones, we would have never gotten to the ones that are cheap. So this is related in some way that all of these streaming services are sort of spreading out the demand. Okay, so people are seeing what is capable and seeing what's available. So I think that these little small companies are using the demand where we want to get this stuff away from, the cable companies. And because of them, there's going to be enough data to tell the people who sell this stuff that there's enough people to buy independently that we can scrap the model that says we're going to force some of these stations on people because people are going to come in the same numbers to be able to buy the same amount of stations. So without these streaming services, we're never going to know how much real demand were people to jump off of the cable box and onto the streaming over the internet kind of stuff. So I hope that answers your question. I do think they're going to go away and get bought out and, just the normal cycle. So the ones that tend to, you watch this happen where same thing happens sort of with Netflix during the beginning, and some of these, they're often left field and it's brand new. We don't know much about this, is that they start out a certain way. So Netflix didn't have very many regular movies. Okay. They had a lot of stuff that you really don't want to watch anyway. And they started becoming more conventional, which meant every time they stepped towards conventional, they got a little bit restricted on what they could and couldn't do. But they stayed just enough outside the box where they were a big competition against the places like Blockbuster and the video rental places. So I was an early on subscriber to Netflix, and it wasn't always easy to do Netflix. But without me doing it early on, they would have never known that it was a demand, and I don't know that it would have gotten to where it was. So I'm not taking credit for Netflix. I'm saying if people like me didn't start doing and buying the new stuff, then the marketplace would never know that we wanted it in the first place. So that's why I'm always on here. I'm railing every weekend, telling you about my story about cutting the cable and letting these media places know that they got to give us better options because it's too expensive. I'm paying $150. I'm watching 10 shows. I'm paying $15 a show to watch TV, and that's a little bit ridiculous, right? So I'm not going to keep doing that and overpaying on that as much as I am. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about next. And if you would like, after the next break, I'm really going to give you the details of this. But every year on the going back to school thing, we're all gearing up to go back to school. And I like, to start telling you about the hardware that you should be looking at, how to stay compliant with what the schools are then asking. But an additional thing this year, we're going to talk a little bit about if you aren't able to go to the store and just buy the newest equipment, if you qualify for some government programs and you're in the low income brackets, there are a lot of options that are available in our area that can allow your household to take advantage of the same technology and services that we talk about without doing it on the retail end. So I want to tell you a little bit about that. So if you know somebody who their family would really need to get their hands on some either equipment or services at a lower price that's subsidized by government programs, then I'll give a little bit more details. Let them know that this part of the program is coming up, and then they can you can also help them because this requires an internet connection to do this next stage. So if you have a family that could really use a computer to be in this, so kids can do their homework and be able to print homework assignments and get on the internet, you might want to help them to subscribe to this and to take advantage of it. So I'll give you I'm just preemptively telling you about this so that you can let them know to listen in, or at least grab a pen so that you can take the details. Because I'll write them off. I'll spend enough time. I'll spend enough time with it to let you guys know all the details, at least what I know. Another internet question: what a good suggestion for a laptop for my son going back to school? Okay, well, I'm going to include this in our next topic because that just goes along with it. So, if you are evaluating, my kid's going back to school and I want to buy him a nice laptop, but I don't want to buy something that if he breaks it, it's a $2,000 paperweight, that kind of thing. So we'll take that topic up when we come back. So if you want to get online, ask any questions, feel free, 330-729-9977, or you can text me, 333-1570. I will answer those questions all show long. All right, listen to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. We'll be right back.
It's 2 o'clock. Always a good time to call Baird Brothers, featuring fine hardwoods since 1960. Online at BairdBrothers.com. News Radio 570, WKBN, Youngstown's news, weather, and talk station.
Here's what's happening in the Valley. 4 city elementary schools in the Youngstown district are set to get $1 million in grants for programs, and that will allow for more success after 6 programs this year. The district received $200,000 each for programming at Paul C. Budd, William Holmes McGuffey, and Martin Luther King Elementaries. The United Way, they received $200,000 for Williamson Elementary and another $200,000 for a success after 6 in schools outside the district. Bond of $75,000 each set for the suspects charged with the Youngstown meth-making operation. Glenn and Nicole Lambert and Mark Cartwright charged with the illegal manufacture and assembly of drugs. Prosecutors say there are 8 children in the home, ranging from 3 to 11 years old. The Boardman man accused of raping a child was found not guilty of the charges against him. The jury made the decision after 3 hours. Eric Daymore, arrested by U.S. Marshals last year after a grand jury indicted him on rape and gross sexual imposition, alleging that Daymore sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl back in October of 2014. In sports, the Indians beat Tampa Bay 5-0, both again today, 5:37 on News Radio 570 WKBN. Both the Pirates and Steelers won last night. Pirates beat Toronto 4-2. They'll meet again today, 12:40 on the Sports Animal 1390 WNIO. NFL preseason for the Steelers, they beat the Giants 20-12. And the Scrappers lose to Staten Island 2-1. From the insurance experts, Art Kashmiri and Associates News Center, I'm Dave Price on Youngstown Warren's only News Radio 570 WKBN.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Jack Callahan. Tensions flaring again in Virginia. A report just in that a vehicle has plowed into a group of counter-protesters at a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. The numbers of injuries unknown, but video from the scene shows a van that has apparently run into that group of protesters. The incident interrupting a few hours of relative calm following clashes this morning. State of emergency declared as the White Nationalist Party was met by hundreds of counter-protesters. Fox's Doug McKelway is there.
The Charlottesville Police Department is heading up this operation here. They were showing a great deal of restraint initially. When things really began to pick up in terms of intensity of violence, they began to move in. That's the point at which they cleared out the park.
That would be Emancipation Park, the name recently changed from Lee Park, a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee scheduled for removal, which in part triggered the White Nationalist rally today.
This is not a good day for Charlottesville. It's not a good day for the Commonwealth. We were hoping that it would not elevate to this level of the violence that we witnessed amongst the participants.
Virginia State Police spokesperson Corinne Geller, President Trump reacting, saying in a tweet, "We all must be united and condemn all that hate stands for. There is no place for this kind of violence in America. Let's come together as one." The president working the phones over the tensions with North Korea, speaking today with French President Emmanuel Macron, who is calling on all sides to tone down the rhetoric, saying the situation undermines the preservation of international peace. President also speaking with China's President Xi in a phone call last night.
China has long maintained that dialogue is the only solution, but it also said it can't force North Korea to give up its nuclear ambitions, despite being the North's largest economic partner. On the call, President Trump agreed he wanted a peaceful solution, but wasn't going to back down if North Korea acts on its recent threats.
Fox's Lauren Blanchard. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Our next update at 2:30. Just ahead, more stimulating talk from the O'Charley's Digital Studios. $9.99 menu, 9 great meals, 1 great price. O'Charley's.
Hi, this is Amy Keith with FlipCheapHouses.com. Our company specializes in teaching beginners how to invest in real estate with little to no financial risk. Are you determined to succeed and have at least $10,000 for startup fees and want to work one-on-one with a professional real estate investor for 12 months? Are you motivated and have at least $10,000 for startup fees and want to start a business now? With our help, in as little as 2 weeks, you can start putting deals together, flipping cheap houses. Are you ambitious and have at least $10,000 for startup fees and want to get a side business started for additional income? If you can give us 10 hours a week, we can show you how to flip cheap houses. If you are a beginner and want to learn how to flip cheap houses, then help me help you. Go to our website at help2017.com and watch our free webinar. That's HELP2017.com to watch our free webinar. HELP2017.com.
Join Ron Verb for the Home Run Payoff Inning, weekdays just after the 5 o'clock news. Guess the correct home run payoff inning and win dinner for 4 at Chili's, plus 4 tickets to a Tribe game. The Home Run Payoff Inning, brought to you by Boardman Subaru.
Listen to the Jay Arnold Wealth Management Show, Monday nights at 6 on News Radio 570, WKBN.
Need a furnace and AC checkup? Call Massa Heating in Girard, your factory-authorized Bryant dealer. Now, the Storm Team 27 forecast.
Clouds disappearing throughout the day, becoming partly sunny with a high 76. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low 58. Sunday, partly sunny, the high 76. Monday, again, partly sunny with a high of 80. Again, clouds disappearing today, becoming partly sunny with a high 76.
It's 79.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Hour 2 of the Youngstown Computer Show. This is on Saturday, where we get to talk about things that are going on in the tech world. You have my ear, my attention for another hour here, so if you want to ask any questions or have some guidance to be thrown in your direction, 330-729-9977. You can also text all show long. You can text me, 333-1570, and I will pay attention and take a look at those from time to time. Let me see if there are any hanging out there right now. SMS? Nope. Okay. So we're ready to receive some more questions that way. This is kind of cool. I never ran across this before. There's a website called Knowem, KNOWEM.com. And there was a question about, let's just say that you were hacked, right? You clicked on a bad virus and somehow you think maybe someone would have gotten your password. Now, what is the quickest way to be able to think of all of the other websites that you've used that username for? So let's just say you log in as, Joe or, whatever your email address is even. You can go to the page Knowem, type in the username, and it will tell you if that username is available. And it'll go to all of the, I just did my normal one, and I see that LinkedIn, PhotoBucket, Scrib Database, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, I used that username on. So if you've got a couple of them that you use, I have 3 that I use. One of them's for business, one of them's for personal, and one of them's like a throwaway if I have to sign up with an account. So if I did lose a password or thought I might have, I can go and put that username in this search box on Knowem, and it'll list all the ones that it's available on, which means that if it's available, then I'm not registered using that name on there, and it's sort of like excluding, giving that information by excluding it. So it does social networks. It does a lot of the main ones. Looks like it's about, I'm going to do a quick count. It's like 100 sites that it compares it with. Community sites like Facebook, business sites like Angie's List and eBay, Bitly and Pinterest, Blogspot, Blogger, so a lot of that stuff. So it's interesting. This is the first time I've messed with it. So I typed in a couple of ones, and it seemed to work okay. I didn't want to guide you to something where they were just going to harvest your email address so that it looks legit and it acts and behaves legit. So if you're in a spot where you think you might have, you want to start deleting a bunch of your accounts and taking old ones that are still out there, you can go through, at least see if you're still active, and then you can visit those sites and cancel those or change your passwords or whatever it is that you're seeking. All right, 330-729-9977. As promised here, I'm going to talk a little bit about if you're in there's some government programs that allow certain segment of our population to qualify for equipment and services as subsidized either by grants from people, some state grants, some federal subsidies. And so I believe it is the FTC is what really puts this together. But the website you want to check out is everyoneon.org. Okay, and everyoneon.org, it is not an official government website, but it is linked specifically with government, with the government website. So if you were to, let's go back to fcc.gov, and so what they're doing is they're trying to put together programs that apply to some people in lower income. I'll read you some of the things here. So you're going to go to everyoneon.org. You're going to type in your zip code, okay? And then there's a button that you're going to hit Find Offers. Now, it's going to ask you a series of questions. First one being low income, at or below $35,000 annual. The second question, live in public housing. So all you're going to do is answer these questions, and it's going to tell you what programs and what grants that you qualify for. So the third one is participate in the National School Lunch Program, participate in the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, participate in the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families Program, participate in the Supplementary Social Security Income Program, participate in Medicaid, participate in Veterans Pension and Survivor Benefits. And then so you select the one that applies to you. Okay, so I'm gonna pick one of them, and there's a button that says View Offers. Now it's going to take a database of service providers who have teamed up with government agencies and these private organizations. And in this case, there's an internet offer. There's a place called PC for People, and they're offering unlimited internet for $10 a month. So you would qualify for that $10 a month subsidized for DS. I'm assuming it's probably going to be AT&T's DSL. It's sold through a special program, PCs for People. Now below that, if you scroll down even further, there are three options. There's a tablet, there's a desktop computer, and there's a laptop. And the tablet is priced at $95. The desktop is priced at $125, and the notebook is $160. Now all of these look to be reconditioned, or the desktop's a Core 2 Duo, so we know it's at least 5 years old. The laptop, it looks like it's about the same, 4 gigs of memories. But if you're looking for a standard computer that lets you be compliant with what the schools are doing, and one of those programs apply to you, you would qualify for one of these programs. So it's definitely interesting, and definitely worth checking out, especially if you or someone might be struggling to be able to put stuff together to buy the equipment for their kid going back to school. This might apply to them. And like I said, those standards that those specifications of who qualifies I read earlier, if any of those rang true, be it Social Security, be it low income, be it the SNAP program, and so on and so forth, they could qualify. Under that, there are also some training locations where, like Poland Library, Struthers Library, Boardman Library, are all listed for basic computer courses. So it's another one of those things where if elderly or, you buy this computer and you want to learn how to use it, these are another options to be able to get free training so that you can start including that. So that handles that part. So again, take that website down. That's everyoneon.org. And that is for having lower cost but, compatible type of hardware so that some of those families can get some equipment so they can keep up with everyone else as far as technology goes. All right, so back to the question, what should I buy my kid going back to school? Now, my answer is always that you want to get in contact with the school and find out what environments they use. You might have a school that puts together a list that says that they do all Chromebooks, or they do all Mac, or they do, depending on what kind of environments they have, check out their labs, call them up and ask them what it looks like. Most of the schools I talk to, that a lot of stuff is in the cloud. Okay, so if you have a Windows machine or a Mac or a Chromebook, all of them can participate in the cloud stuff because it's being done over, Google Docs or something like that. But check with your school to find out what they do, and then you can buy equipment that lines most up with what they're about to experience when they go to that school. Same thing with colleges. They're getting very heavy into these Chromebooks, and so check first off to see what those labs are. Same thing. So now, equipment-wise, the stuff you are really putting expensive equipment into the firing line, and as much as I can say you want to put the absolute cheapest piece of equipment because it's going to get broken and damaged and whatever, that's not probably the most socially advantageous thing to do, right? Because you got to, it's keeping up with the Joneses too. You got to have some style to go along with that, whatever you purchase. So what you want to do is you don't really want to buy at the top end, okay? So they make models in every brand. So let's just say, you've bought into the Mac brand and you want to keep up with the people who are buying, Mac equipment. So you have a couple different versions. If you're going to buy a laptop for your kid, you have the MacBook Air, right? And this is like the real lightweight. It's probably the least expensive version. And then you have the MacBook and you have the MacBook Pro. And the MacBook Pro is probably the most expensive, and the MacBook is probably middle of the line. So you can find a lot of this stuff. So let's just say you did want to go MacBook Pro. You can find some refurbished stuff instead of just getting new, running down to the Apple Store, buying something right off the shelf. I think it was Mac Warehouse, had a lot of stuff that were repurposed, recertified. And then so you can buy it a little bit cheaper than you can on the retail side. Comes with the same exact warranty. It's just it's been owned before and it got fixed and sent back out into circulation. So there are ways and means to be able to take and like I said, you got to always go back to that. It's gonna get damaged. It's gonna get beat up. So you do not want, unless you just got money to burn, and you don't want to put something in the line of fire who know it could get stolen, it could get damaged, and whatever. So you want to hit right in the middle part, what you can afford, what gets the job done, and that will last throughout the career, in that school. You don't want to buy the cheapest thing, really, because then you're going to be buying more than one. Maybe it'll last a year, maybe it'll last 2 years under those circumstances. So you want to be careful when you're shopping this out. Now, what are you buying? Like, what are you doing equipment-wise? Every retail place gives back to school sales when it comes to electronics, okay? And I will tell you, it's one of the best. It's even better than the Christmas holiday, pricing. It's better than that. So if you can line it up where you can buy the equipment at these back-to-school deals, you could buy equipment that is real close to being what they sell off the shelf for a cheaper, just a really discounted price going into the season. It's not going to be it's not going to be the new stuff. It's usually going to be 1-year-old stuff that they put on the shelf and sell them at a lesser price. That's just my experience. Where when you do the whole Christmas thing, the Black Friday sales and whatnot, that's stuff that they never even put on their shelf. That's just special back of the warehouse, fell off the back of the truck kind of stuff. This is actually halfway decent. So to answer your question, the person who texted and asked what I should buy for my kid, I usually stick with a brand that I already know is pretty good at supporting their equipment. So the warranty they're solid on. Check to see when something does, someone cracks a case or a screen melts down or whatever, make sure that it's pretty decent to replace it, either the whole thing or the screen. Second is I would buy something that's a little bit more rugged, okay? Put in a backpack. You don't want something dainty that's bendable that, can get broken super easy. Have a little bit, we like those Asus cases. We have some customers that are, auto shops and stuff like that where their equipment gets a beating. So we want a little bit rugged of a case. So we're willing to put on a couple extra ounces onto the weight just because we know it's got to endure a little bit. And those cases, if they're a little bit more structured to them, then they're going to last a little bit longer because they're going to take a little bit more damage a little bit better. So that's not a requirement, but it's just something to look for is when you're picking up the chassis that it's, everybody's looking for the slimmest, smallest, lightest thing that you can pack in a bag, and then it gets bent in half and it's no good to anybody. So like I said, those Asus, they make a really good board. The attention to equipment is really good. I haven't had anything warranty-wise that had to go back. So it's one of those things where I think I know where they stand, and I think that they'll stand behind their product, but without any evidence whatsoever. We got hundreds of these Asuses out there in the marketplace, and we've really never had to challenge the equipment. We just never had one go bad. Their failure rate was equal to where Dell was. So we used to buy computers based on a 5% failure rate or lower. Then it got to 3, and then it got to 2, right? And then so everybody else's equipment, the HPs and Lenovo's, they were going towards 7 and 8% failure rate, and these ones were going down like 1 and 2% failure rate. So it was just, like I said, we knew we were buying on the right track, and we've stuck to it, and it's really paid off for the people who follow that advice and go to the store and sort of stick to those brands. All right, so long and short, you're probably going to pay about $600 is the before all the discounts and whatever for the type of computer that you're going to buy for your kid. You're going to be able to go to the store if you buy on one of these back-to-school specials. You're probably going to get that closer to $400 to $500. If you're $400, you might be buying a little bit low. You got to pay attention to make sure that it's really not slow and really not old, because you might be buying something that you're going to regret doing. So $600 is your middle. That's your, if you're over it, if you're under it, if you stay there, you're right on the level. So 330-729-9977 if you want to call the program. You can also text 330-333-1570, and I can read those text messages along the show today. Okay, so going back, another question was about streaming, another streaming question. And let's go to this, because I was not familiar with this site, so let me go back to it. And this is... It's Cody. Okay, so I'll generally answer this question. I don't have the brand name, but another question is pricing and what should you pay for streaming? And a lot of, okay, if you are paying directly, like this is the most confusing part of this whole endeavor, was I had 5 different ways to pay HBO to get HBO Go, and I had to figure out, what benefited me without making it more cumbersome, because I could probably cut $2 or $3 off of the cost of some of this stuff, but I would have to do something different, like set up separate billing through a separate company. So I'll address the payment on some of this streaming stuff here in a moment when we get back. Again, 330-729-9977. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. This is the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN.
You're hearing the Youngstown Computer Show with Joe Danier on News Radio 570 WKBN.
The clock is ticking. Every day you put off buying life insurance can cost you big time. The older you get, the more you'll have to pay. And a sudden accident or unexpected illness could cause your rates to skyrocket or even make you uninsurable. Beat the clock. Call Select Quote now. No hassle, no obligation. In minutes, you'll have a choice of your best rates from up to 10 highly rated life insurance companies. Richard, 40 years old, takes meds to control his cholesterol. Still, Select Quote got him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. Under $1 a day. Don't risk your family security another minute. Get your free quote now. Just call 800-280-8787. That's 800-280-8787. 800-280-8787. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Hi again, this is Dan Rivers. We're back for another year of Tribe Replay. Weekday mornings, 8:40 following a Tribe game. Brought to you by Stadium GM Superstore in Salem, where Zero Down delivers every day.
1 year can make all the difference. A year ago, Steve and Katie were up against the IRS. They were trying to negotiate payments for back taxes they owed without success. The IRS had the leverage. Steve and Katie were scared. Steve realized that he couldn't solve the problem by himself. So what did he do? He called Tax Defense Partners. They immediately used their knowledge of the IRS to get money already seized back into the couple's account and to put a payment plan in place. This summer versus last summer is a 100% difference for Steve and Katie and their family. Tax Defense Partners resolved their situation. Summertime's supposed to be about vacations, not tax liens. If you owe $10,000 or more, or if you have unfiled tax returns, call Tax Defense Partners and make sure it's Tax Defense Partners. They have 2 decades of experience. Their number, 800-730-7777. Tax Defense Partners, 800-730-7777.
When was the last time you walked out of a mattress store feeling confident about your purchase? These places exist for one reason. For a highly trained, commission-driven salesperson to dupe you into spending way too much money on a mattress. Hi, my name is Neil, and I'm one of the co-founders of Casper. Casper was created with a single goal in mind: deliver a great night's sleep at an incredible value. So we hired a team of engineers and designers to develop a single perfect mattress that sleeps cool and has just the right sink and bounce. We sell the Casper mattress online, skipping the markups of mattress stores, and we let you try it out in your own home for 100 nights risk-free. In less than 3 years, we've rapidly become the internet's favorite mattress. In fact, it now has more than 20,000 reviews with an average of 4.8 stars. Try us out today. Simply go to Casper.com and use code MEDIA to get $50 towards your mattress purchase. Terms and conditions apply. That's gift code MEDIA at Casper.com for $50 towards your mattress purchase. Casper.com. Thanks for checking us out.
It's 79.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I am Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer, and your host today. Sitting manning the controls is Dave Price, as always, so thank you, Dave. All right, so getting back to the subscriptions and the pricing on some of the streaming, you got to be careful what you pay for. I'll give you an example. HBO Go. So I went to, and this HBO Go is something that you can bring on a tablet. It can be played on a phone. You can buy it through the App Store. So if you have an iPhone and you go to HBO Go, you can actually subscribe and pay your $15 a month and be able to watch HBO stuff on your mobiles. And you can also go to something like Apple TV, subscribe there. You can do it with Fire TV, subscribe there. You can do it right through Amazon as well. What I found is that because I have AT&T as a wireless provider, I could actually sign up for HBO Go for free. I actually had to go through DirecTV because that's where the source is coming from. But it was free. It's already part of what I pay for wireless. So my wireless with AT&T allowed me to get programming through HBO Go as part of something that I'm already paying for. So those of you who are listening and know my hatred for DirecTV, the rule actually is not that I don't do business with DirecTV. It says I will not spend a dime with DirecTV until they return the money to me that they have been holding for the last 8 years that they owe me. Okay, so it's not breaking that rule. So even though I'm taking advantage of something free from them, it doesn't mean they're on back off of my S list. So they eventually, I don't know. I just felt like I might have a run in, especially with this football thing. That's the weakness in this whole plan, is that DirecTV has a really big lockdown on, a lockdown on like the NFL Sunday Ticket and all of the games that play. So you have two choices. You either have over the air or DirecTV when you're doing this. Now, over the air, pretty much all the Browns games are going to be on one of those stations. It's very rarely that it's on like an ESPN or something that isn't broadcast on CBS or Fox or something like that. But I don't have a DVR that's connected to over the air. Now, traditionally, I watch every game anyway, so it's never been, it's not likely that I'll have to record anything. But if I did, I don't have that yet. So right now there's a $100 box that supposedly records over the air. I don't know how it does it. I don't know intelligently, because like with your DVR, you go through the guide and you select record on it. I don't know if this is going to be like VCR where we have to tell it the time and then, it just records whatever's playing kind of thing. So I'll let you know about that. But if that's the case, if now I've got another device that sits up there, now this is getting truly complicated because now I got to pay $10 a month to have this stinking thing. It's going to cost me $100 up front. By the time I'm going to have 97 devices that are sitting on the table, and it's going to cost me just a little bit less than what I was paying the cable provider. And I think that's how they're like skewing this math. So that's the inevitability: either easy but a little bit more expensive versus really complicated but a little bit cheaper. Last week I said I was up to about $45. $49 in total, subscriptions and whatnot. And right now I'm at like $79, but then I found out about the HBO Go thing, so I took $15 back off of that. So I was able to shave. I'm still below. So went from 150 through Armstrong, right? 150. And right now I'm at 79, and then I just took another 15 off of there. So we're at 65, right? So I'm still $90 cheaper at this point. I'm not done yet, though. So we'll see. I'm guessing this is one of the last things, because I'm on football now, that I'm going to add $10 to that. So I'm probably at about, probably about $75 is when it's said and done. I don't know. That still seems a little bit expensive when I still only watch 10 programs a month. So I got to either watch more TV so I could feel better about the money I'm paying, or I got to figure out a way to just buy what I want. I mean, why is this so freaking difficult? I don't know. 330-729-9977. And let's see. I have a LG tablet through AT&T. Do I need a security app? If so, could you recommend one that may include malware? I'm actually, it doesn't really apply to non-Windows devices, okay, because there just isn't a whole lot of malware that you're protecting yourself against. But if you want to put something on there to make yourself feel a little bit better and to protect you in case you do something boneheaded, I'm going to recommend Malware Bytes. They do have an Android app and they do have an iPhone app, and it's free. It doesn't even cost anything. So if you're going to do something, give Malware Bytes a try, and it should work out for you. All right, we're going to take more calls, take some more of your messages, 330-729-9977, or you can text me at 333-1578. We're going to take a break, come back, take more of those calls. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. We'll be right back.
You're hearing the Youngstown Computer Show with Joe Danier on News Radio 570 WKBN.
It's 2:30.
Here's what's happening in the Valley. 4 city elementary schools in the Youngstown district are set to get $1 million in grants for programs, and that will allow for more success after 6 programs this year. The district received $200,000 each for programming at Paul C. Budd, William Holmes McGuffey, and Martin Luther King Elementaries. The United Way, they received $200,000 for Williamson Elementary and another $200,000 for a success after 6 in schools outside the district. Bond of $75,000 each set for the suspects charged with the Youngstown meth-making operation. Glenn and Nicole Lambert and Mark Cartwright charged with the illegal manufacture and assembly of drugs. Prosecutors say there are 8 children in the home ranging from 3 to 11 years old. The Boardman man accused of raping a child was found not guilty of the charges against him. The jury made the decision after 3 hours. Eric Daymore, arrested by U.S. Marshals last year after a grand jury indicted him on rape and gross sexual imposition, alleging that Daymore sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl back in October of 2014. In sports, the Indians beat Tampa Bay 5-0, both again today, 5:37 on News Radio 570 WKBN. Both the Pirates and Steelers won last night. Pirates beat Toronto 4-2. They'll meet again today, 12:40 on the Sports Animal 1390 WNIO. NFL preseason for the Steelers, they beat the Giants 20-12. And the Scrappers lose to Staten Island 2-1. From the insurance experts, Art Kashmiri and Associates News Center, I'm Dave Price on Youngstown Warren's only News Radio, 570 WKBN.
Sir. This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Jane Metzler.
They're trying to get these people out. Please back up.
After police ordered everyone to disperse at a white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, we're now hearing about what police call a 3-vehicle accident on a city street. Some counter-demonstrators were hit, several taken away in ambulances. That rally to protest plans to remove a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Others heard earlier.
You can see people who are taking treatment here for having been maced. Let's go ask this guy what happened to him real quick. Sir, can I talk to you? Tell me what happened. What happened?
I can't talk right now, bro.
We're on live TV.
Oh, I got hit with pepper spray.
Who did it?
One of the Nazis.
Fox's Doug McElway, the president, first lady, vice president, and House Speaker. Among those tweeting, they condemn the violence. This is a Fox News Alert.
Our next update at 3, just ahead. More stimulating talk from the O'Charley's Digital Studios. $9.99 menu, 9 great meals, 1 great price. O'Charley's.
Welcome to America Speaks by Zip, the polling app that lets you tell the nation what you think. Download the Zip app today. It's Saturday, August 12th. R. Kelly retained Bill Cosby's former lawyer Monique Presley to manage his crisis and do damage control, but 83% of all respondents to the Zip app think the singer is guilty. The Tesla Model 3 has been released with rave reviews and starts at $35,000. Does this more affordable price point make you more likely to move toward driving an electric car? 60% of women and 56% of men are not sold, saying it's just too new. Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston are starring together in a new TV show about morning TV shows, but 63% of men and 53% of women don't seem too interested. 40% of all respondents to the Zip app said they'd watch, saying Witherspoon and Aniston are a dream team. Finally, an app to create world peace or maybe just prove your point. Now you can poll the masses by downloading Zip, the question-answer app, in the App Store.
You might not think of it this way, but summer is burglary season. Every summer, burglary rates spike, according to the Department of Justice. You go on vacation, you spend the day away at the beach, burglars see the signs that you're not home. no cars in the driveway, no lights on inside. It's an open invitation for a break-in. Now, this is why Simply Safe Home Security has extended their biggest ever summer sale until August the 13th. Save $100 or more off Simply Safe's special summer packages. Now, each has everything you need to keep your home safe from intruders. Your Simply Safe Home Security system can be set up and activated in less than an hour. And Simply Safe's around-the-clock monitoring is only $14.99 a month. And there's no long-term contract. It's protection done right. Now, the sale ends August 13th. Go online to simplysafeusa.com. You will save $100 today. That's simplysafeusa.com to get your $100 off and home security.
You're unique, so why is your mattress one size fits all? Because a custom mattress costs thousands, until now. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to HelixSleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Shipping is free, and you have 100 nights to try it out. Go to HelixSleep.com/talkradio and get $50 off your order. HelixSleep.com/talkradio.
Muscle weakness, high blood pressure, tired for no reason. It could be as simple as a vitamin D deficiency. Tune in Sunday morning and find out more. It's Your Health, Sunday morning, 8:30, News Radio 570, WKBN. For your home or business, call Massa Heating in Girard, your factory-authorized Bryant dealer. Now, the Storm Team 27 forecast.
Clouds disappearing throughout the day, becoming partly sunny with a high 76. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low 58. Sunday, partly sunny, the high 76. Monday, again, partly sunny with a high of 80. Again, clouds disappearing today, becoming partly sunny with a high 76.
It's 79.
For news on demand, go to 570WKBN.com. Brought to you by Donnell Ford.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. We talk about things in tech on our Saturday afternoon, pretty much every week. So if you want to ask any questions, 330-729-9977. You can also text at 333-1570. We're going to take some calls. Let's go to Elaine. Elaine, you're next on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Yes, I'm not very good with computers, but here's my problem.
Sure.
I cannot get on the Internet. I have a Dell. I called my cable company. They said, well, your router is all lit up, so it's not us. They gave me the hotline number for Dell. I called Dell, and he said, how old is your computer? And I said, it's an old one. It's about 13 years old. So he said, I have to give you another number. Gives me another number, and I called that number. And he asked me the same thing and the model number, and then he told me that Microsoft, after so many years, they disconnected, that I'd have to buy a new computer. There was nothing they can do. Is that true?
Well, no. I mean, it would be very, very difficult for them to help you because they're not in the business of doing that, helping you get online. They want to sell you a new computer, and they're right that the version of operating system you're using is expired, XP. It still works. Right? XP is still a functioning product, but it's just not a supported product, so you can't ask anybody for help on it and expect them to help. So it's just easier for them to try to sell you a new one. But in your case, it probably still works, but there's a reason why the Internet isn't working. And you got to find out if there's a problem with the software in your router, or there might be a cable problem, or there might be a problem with your adapter. So it's probably more of a troubleshooting question than it is that you have to buy a new computer. I would always try to troubleshoot it first, and you still might end up with having to replace the computer, but I would at least have someone take a look at it and see if they can figure out what part of the chain is broken and see if it's recoverable.
Now, what's a troubleshooter? I'm not good at computers. How do I do that?
Well, either you're going to take your computer to a computer company or have them come out to you. Or if you know someone who can kind of walk you through some steps on trying to isolate. So basically, when we try to isolate these problems, it's either going to be something with the computer, something with the cable, and then something with the router. So we'd start swapping things out, where we'd take a different cable and see if it works with a different cable, or resetting your adapter. It's something you probably couldn't help or handle without the help of somebody like Youngstown Computer, or a service provider such as us.
I follow you. Now, the router is also very old. I mean, it is, when you say the router, I've been tempted to call my cable company, Spectrum, and to ask for a new router because it is really old.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I would do that even before you call a service provider because if they might be able to come out if it's software. Like they might technically be right where they can see that your router's online, but maybe your router's job is to hand out IP addresses and that part's broken. So being that it's an old router, you can insist to say, hey, I just want a new router that has better capabilities and I'm due for it anyway because I've had this one for so long, and see if they'll send somebody out and swap routers out for you. I've done it many, many times, and you just got to insist that that's what they do.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Elaine, for the phone call. Appreciate it. Most of the cases that either they are leasing you that equipment, or you can own that equipment outright. So in her case, if she calls and says, hey, you know what, you're going to have to sign another contract, that might be an answer, and you might actually have to go down to the store and buy your own router and then say, hey, I got my own coaxial, my own router. Here's the serial number. Activate it. Now you own the router, but you got a new one, and you don't have to sign a contract, or you can get rid of that whole leasing thing. Because over the course of 10 years, you probably pay $5 and $6 a month to lease that equipment. So you're paying $70 some a year for it. 10 years, you paid $700 for that router when it came down. So it might behoove you to buy your own equipment and just have them connected in. So it's worthwhile. 330-729-9977. Let's go to Gary next. Gary, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Yes. When running my computer, I'm trying to print a postcard with a picture on it. I get a message that says this plug-in is not supported, and the computer stops everything right there, and I can't go any further. And I wondered what I could do to get rid of that.
Now, what are you using to author the postcard? Is it like it's on the web, or is it like a Microsoft product? What are you doing?
No, it's actually a program that I bought. It's called Send Out Cards.
Okay. All right,
and you could do different postcards and greeting cards, things like that.
Okay. The plugin message, it sounds like it's operating out of a browser, and its functions being blocked by the browser, thinking that whatever behavior is going on is posing some kind of threat. So I would probably, is it an old program, or is it something that you got pretty recently?
It's an older one. They update it.
Okay. Yeah, if you've got it updated and you know for sure it lines up with, compatibility with your operating system, you just might have to lower your security a little bit to allow it to operate. So either allowing the browser for it to function or your antivirus to function. It really depends on what's telling you the plugin's not supported. If you know, do you happen to know what made that pop up?
No.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably going to need to have someone take a look at it. I would probably first call the program manufacturer and see if they can give you some guidance as to what the error means. I'm not familiar with it, so I can't give you real specific information, but you might be able to call them, especially if you're a subscriber, and say, hey, I'm getting this message. Can you have your tech support give me some guidance? Even if they can't fix it, at least they can tell you a little bit more about what the error means.
Okay. Yeah, I could do that because they have a real good support department.
Perfect. All right, that's perfect.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. And whenever you have something like HP that's brand new, or you have a new TV from Samsung, and when it's brand new, they offer some support. So if you're a regular subscriber, if I have Adobe Creative Cloud, and if I one day get an error message, I am part of a purchaser. I'm a customer of them. And before you go out and get an independent, like a third party like Youngstown Computer, you might want to check with the vendor who you are already paying to cover you in that department before you just come to me. And I know a lot of people like to deal with us first and then sort of us work on your behalf. We play that bulldog thing where we'll go between you and the vendor, so we make sure that nobody's taking advantage of you and nobody's telling you stuff that's not true. Half the battle is being able to interpret what the person's telling you and the truthfulness, because you get a lot of salespeople behind the speech, and they want you to buy something new, not just figure out what the problem is. See, that's the angle that Youngstown Computer takes, is we just give you info. You get to ultimately decide, and our job isn't to skew, right? We don't want an outcome for you. We want you to arrive at the outcome that you're most comfortable with and that makes you most happy. And that's why we've been able to put together all these multi-generational customers and all these referrals, because that's just how we treat people. And we make sure that we surround ourselves with a lot of good employees that know what they're doing. We surround ourselves by great customers who don't exploit and take advantage of, our willingness to just be there for people when they need us. So if you do need something, David will be down there at the office for a little while. It's 600 Youngstown Pullen Road over in Struthers if you want to drop something off. The office number, 330-259-7278. Give David a call. You can even get something scheduled up for the beginning of the week if you want to drop something off on Monday, if it's outside of today's window. So again, 330-259-7278. Let's go to the next call. Next is Richard. Richard, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Yes. About a year ago, I had a problem with my computer. I go online, and the computer was slow, and then after a while, I get a warning in the center of the screen. It had 3 questions: stop script, end script, or debug script. And I couldn't do nothing with it. So I bought a used laptop off a buddy of mine, and I know it's a good computer, and I took it over to my girlfriend's house, and it worked beautiful. So I decided to take it home and try it on at my house, and I get the same warning. And I said, what the heck? I know this computer works good. It works fine at my girlfriend's, but it doesn't work okay at my house. So I got to thinking maybe my IP address got hacked. I looked into that, and then I opened up a can of worms. Then I called AT&T, my provider, and I asked them if they could increase the power. Now, they give you, I think, 6 Mbps per second, and they turn around and give me a few extra bumps, and I had to pay extra for it, and the computer worked fine for a little while, and then I had the same problem. After a while, Spectrum come along, and they offered not 6 Mbps, but 60 Mbps per second, and I decided, and plus a lot cheaper price. I decided to go sign up with them, and I had no problem at all with the computer with that warning. So what that tells me that AT&T was not getting me enough power to light up the computer. That's why it has my problems. And the thing about it, I was buying these used computers off of eBay, and I was sending them back because I thinking there was no good, and I wasted about $300 in shipping to send about 4 computers back and find out the problem was with AT&T. What's your take on that?
Well, I think, I mean, I agree with you that there was a service that was being starved of bandwidth, and that's where you were getting the information, or that pop-up that said it couldn't load a script or it couldn't perform a function. And then you threw more speed at it, and it made that problem a little bit better. It probably could have been resolved without throwing the speed at it. You could have figured out which service is using all that extra bandwidth, and you could have either removed the service or disabled it, and that would have made that part of it better. But I still think you deserved a little bit more bandwidth to begin with. But like I said, that service, the computer in of itself will function without that error. But there's something running on that machine that was causing it.
Well, I don't know, but all I know is it's running a lot better since I switched with Spectrum.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. That's awesome. All right. Thanks for a call, Richard. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being out there. And for everybody else out there, I mean, just to sort of over-explain that a little bit, think about it this way. Let's just say that there is a program running on your machine that its job is to check your email, right? And you have about 10 messages a day. So it's sitting on your computer and it's checking your message. It's using so much in resources. Now, let's just say at a certain point you start receiving more email, okay? And then so you're actually starting to consume more resources than is being provided for you. Now, your email client in and of itself, yes, it's the sort of the pinnacle of the problem, but it's not what's causing the problem. There's something that's happening inside the program that's causing it to need more bandwidth. So if you sniff out what's requiring so much. So for instance, I used to have Outlook Exchange, and it used to just use a ton of local network. It created a whole bunch of network activity. So I had one computer that was open, and then when I had Outlook, everything would, pixelation started happening on the TV, and streaming would slow down to a crawl, and I couldn't figure out what was taking all of my bandwidth. So I could have just thrown more bandwidth at it, right? And that would solve my problem. And it would have felt like that I just didn't have enough bandwidth. But in reality, I found that Outlook was using way too much. And as soon as I closed it down, my network would be fine. So you just got to be careful not to throw bandwidth when the problem isn't the bandwidth. The problem is something's consuming more than it really should. And whereas in more bandwidth solves it, it doesn't really fix that, because Outlook would have continued to waste all of my bandwidth to begin with. So I just wanted to point that out, and I hope I was clear on that side, because it does happen, especially with a lot of us people who have 10 and 15 gigs on our cell phones. We're finding how valuable and how limited that is. And if you have an app that sits in the background and does updates and it burns through all of your data, you can see how quickly you could run out, especially when you have a limited. So in his case, he was already dealing with six megs, which was not a whole lot, and you're going to feel the ripples of being strangled on bandwidth more than 60. So he should have been at 60 anyway, just like everybody else is, like all of our technology is. So in this case, he should have been there anyway. But I don't want him to say, just throw bandwidth at every problem. You got to figure out what's harming it. I had one guy who had an infection on his computer, so his computer was sending out a bunch of spam messages, and he noticed that his network got really slow all of a sudden. Well, it's because his computer's sitting there sending spam out all day. Thousands and thousands of messages were going on the outward side. So his network slowing down was indicative. It showed him, hey, there's something really wrong. What if he'd have called his provider and just decided to up his bandwidth so he wouldn't feel the effects? That thing would have continued to send spam out, so he'd never really solved the problem. Sorry to over-explain that another time, but to make that nice and clear. All right, let's look at, let's see if we have any other questions. If you want to get loaded up and ask a question via text message, you can text me at 333-1570, but we are going to take a break first, and then we'll come back, take some more of your calls and more of your text messages. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. We'll be right back.
You're hearing the Youngstown Computer Show with Joe Danier on News Radio 570 WKBN.
Tune in every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. for the Mahoning Valley Sportsman Show, hosted by Mike Craig, proudly brought to you by Bolt Construction. Over 35 years of doing things right in the gas and oil industry and airport gathering systems. Online at boltconstruction.cc.
The clock is ticking. Every day you put off buying life insurance can cost you big time. The older you get, the more you'll have to pay. And a sudden accident or unexpected illness could cause your rates to skyrocket or even make you uninsurable. Beat the clock. Call Select Quote now. No hassle, no obligation. In minutes, you'll have a choice of your best rates from up to 10 highly rated life insurance companies. Richard, 40 years old, takes meds to control his cholesterol. Still, Select Quote got him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. Under $1 a day. Don't risk your family's security another minute. Get your free quote now. Just call 800-280-8787. That's 800-280-8787. 800-280-8787. Or go to selectquote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
The hometown advantage. You see it in the shops and offices downtown, in our factories, schools, and farms. Jet the accountant has it. So do Corey in IT and Amber, the vet tech. They found local jobs at MahoningValleyHelpWanted.com. It's where local employers find local workers like you, people who care about this community. Search jobs and apply online right now. Get the advantage of finding a job close to home at MahoningValleyHelpWanted.com. Local jobs that work.
iHeartRadio wants nothing more than to bring you closer to your favorite artists.
This is Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones.
So we've updated the iHeartRadio app. No, it's an upgrade. All your favorite music and stations, easier to find. Getting you closer to the music you love with just a tap.
Hey, this is Brett Michaels, and this is iHeartRadio.
All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Download and open the new iHeartRadio app today.
Krakus, the Valley's authentic Polish deli and bakery. Market Street, Boardman. Now, 77.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I am Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer, and we do this on Saturdays where we get to talk about things that are happening in tech. I did earlier this week, or no, actually yesterday, Friday. Dan Rivers was talking to a doctor, so I think it was a psychologist, about the effects on social media on kids and how some of them are struggling with cyberbullying and stuff like that. And that whole program, if you listen to it, it really broke my heart to sort of picture you at your most vulnerable when you were a kid trying to make your way through, school, and it was hard enough to fit in, and then you've got this monstrosity, uncontrollable digital, world that you have to live in. And it's not surprising that it's made a lot of things a lot worse, and it's magnified a lot of our, societal problems. But after hearing that show, I've paid attention to a lot of the people that I, have as friends on social media. And I kind of listen to their words a little bit differently now, knowing that they might be in one of those depressed states and whatever. And like I said, it's just heartbreaking all the way around. But maybe if we can just, be there a little bit and offer some extra sympathy and some consideration for that age group. We pick on millennials and that age group for being, a certain way. And I don't know, that just opened my eyes a little bit that maybe we should be a little bit more helpful and be a little bit more instructional and try to help through. Because it's I didn't realize how much more difficult it would have been if I were going through high school and elementary school, and also trying to keep a healthy social life with social media and how brutal it can be. So just want to point that out. If you know someone that's in that age group, maybe listening in and paying attention to what they're going through. I don't know, just a suggestion. Also, over at our store in 600 Youngstown Poland Road, last year we set up a box that's called a Pay It Forward box. And this is just a little outdoor closet type of thing where people from our community can drop off things that they might not need, or go shopping and buy some extra canned food or clothes or something like that. Something when you're picturing someone in a bad spot, that this place, people can go to and take things that they might need. And it was looking kind of empty. I'm actually going to go over there after sometime tomorrow and refill it with some, deodorants and toothpaste and stuff like that. So if you have time today and you can head over that way and add some food to it, it could really appreciate some attention from people of our community. Everybody has been great up to this point. Get about, I would say, 20 visitors per day to the box, day and night. Every 2 in the morning, 10 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. Has visitors, both people coming, taking a couple cans of food so they can go home, I'm assuming, and feed their families. And then there's people that shop every day and drop off bags of groceries every day. And so it's just been amazing and eye-opening, and it really it makes me feel better, and it makes me feel really good to be part of this community when you have so many people be willing to give and to use this. And that was the intention of the whole box, was to have a very passive, very easy way to that if people in need, can fill their stomachs with something. We did it in the dead of winter last time, so it was we made sure that there was a lot of hats and gloves and coats so that we didn't want anybody to be cold. We did heaters, anything you could think of, anything you could picture. If you saw the movie Pay It Forward, is these little things that we do for other people that inspire other people to do more is really the whole intention. So hopefully you can find a little inspiration, and you can find a little bit of time and a little bit extra money. Head down to the Pay It Forward box and make some kind of donation over this weekend. I'll be in really things like diapers and just deodorants and that kind of stuff. That everyday stuff that you and I take for granted is very valuable in the lives of some people who might be struggling right now. So if you can, I'm asking that you do. A text message. Remember, it's not what you want; it's what you can afford. From a retiree on a budget. And we're talking about hardware and making a correction there that sometimes you have to buy with what's in your means. I totally agree with you, and maybe I worded it different. Another question was, is there a place locally that can replace the screen on my MacBook Air? The Apple Store wants $500. Now, I will tell you that the Apple stores are pretty reasonable when it comes to costs. Okay, they're not usually over the top as far as what things are going to cost. Maybe we've paid $100 and some for a service hour, and then we've bought equipment at whatever retail was. So if it's around $500 from them, it's probably because the screen on a MacBook Air is every bit of $300. And then so if you throw tax and an hour of labor to put it in there, you're probably around $500. But what I would do is grab your serial number and call one of our guys, have them look up the screen. Okay, if the screen, usually typical, laptop LCDs are usually under $100, 100 something on the real top end, and so you can get away with 2 less than $300 for a screen replacement after it's been installed. In this case, call with the model and as much information as you can give them. They'll look up the screen, and if the screen is $300, then yeah, it's probably going to be $500 with us as well. But it's worthwhile. Go call our guys 330-259-7278. Let them know you like to price out a screen replacement. Again, 330-259-7278. All right, great show. Love the calls. Really, really interesting. So everybody have a good week, and we'll see you next week. You've listened to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. Have a good one.